Hello, and thank you so much for coming back. This is Joanna from Joanna the Medium, or I am Joanna the Medium. Thank you so much for your patience. The videos for September are coming a little bit late. I was just absolutely swamped in September. Thanks to you for the most part. The soul coaching sessions have proven to be a tremendous hit. There were 75% of all my work in September, and clients, you have found them to be extraordinarily helpful. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. This is obviously, these are general readings. It will not apply to all of you. That would be absolutely impossible. If one reading doesn't apply to you, look at your other signs as it may form a greater picture. I am also becoming very, very aware that the energies that I am working with are energies that are meant to give messages in a broader context. And what I mean by this is information is coming forward to help you look at life and at situation or situations from a different perspective. And the reason why that's being given to you at this time is because those of you who are ready for the next step of your soul's growth will instantly resonate with what's being said. Those are also messages that are not specific necessarily with regards to what's going on with your life and how you need to fix it. And for that reason, some of you will get very frustrated with me, and that's fine. If that's the case, you may not be ready for the information that I will be presenting moving forward. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing. Sometimes you're not ready to hear something, but you may be ready for a month from now or 2 months from now. And I absolutely respect that. I've been there myself. But it is very much as me saying, these messages are meant to help you how to fish rather than to give you fish every single time, because helping you learn how to fish is going to empower you to take better care of yourself in a more empowered way, versus if I was to be feeding you all the time and giving you information. That's actually very disempowering. And my greatest passion is to help people become empowered and find their own light in order to grow and live happy lives that start from feeling good within. So that is my greatest hope for all of you. And some of you are just looking for things to be fixed. And, if that's the case, you probably will not resonate with a lot of the messages that I say here. And that's totally okay. I am completely open to that, and I have respect for that. Okay. Is there anything else that I want to say? No, of course, if you would like a private message, you can also email me at joannahthemedium or info@joannahthemedium.com, but I have included links for you down below, so it's much easier so you don't have to look. I also want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, as always, for watching, sharing, subscribing, for if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. September is going to be an interesting month, to say the least. It is a month of changes and transformations for many of you, myself included. These aren't changes that are bad, or at least should not be looked at it that way, but there's definitely an energy of change that is very apparent in most of the readings that I've done for September. I think that's it. I don't want to spend too much of your time blabbing. So let's get on to the readings. And again, thank you so much for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And I look forward to hearing from you as far as your comments, because I love hearing those and reading those. And some of you have said I should stop going and I actually just noticed that I do that a lot. So I'm going to try and pay attention to that as much as I can. But it is something that's ingrained, so it's going to take me a bit of time to eradicate, but I obviously thank you for that comment. Without further ado, let's get started with the readings. See you soon. Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Taurus, moon sign, rising sign, and sun sign. Sorry, I just lost my marbles for a second. I'm trying to play with the angle here so that you don't get too much glare from the reflection in the picture. It just started to rain and it went really, really dark all of a sudden, and I need to be recording these because I'm running late. So let me connect with Spirit, or shall I say, let me listen to Spirit and see what messages we have first. And then I have 3 cards laid out face down to see what they say after the message. Okay, so let me just tune in and see what we can start off with. The very first thing I hear is the word patience. And before you roll your eyes, and me too, into my head, I'm going to ask for explanation. He's saying to me that patience is important at this time. First half of September. Why? He's saying to me there's a waiting period before things start to take off again. I hear the words slowing down. This is very much connected to earning money, work. If you have your own business, all of a sudden I heard printing shop. For some of you, maybe you have printing business. Slowing down, and I hear the words inevitable. And when I ask why is it inevitable, I hear the words it's the time of year. And all of a sudden, an image and a feeling comes to me with respect to starting a new school year and parents being busy with organizing their children with regards to school, or if it's adults, it's something to do with school. So for whatever reason, I'm being asked to say this to you because you are not to worry about long-term effects of this, as this will not be a long-term ordeal. Okay? And again, he says patience is required at this moment. But I'm also being told that patience is something that is good for you to practice. Great. For Tauruses, right? Well, we seem to be impatient. But I also know people who are not Tauruses and they're not patient. So most of my clients are not patient, and they're not Tauruses. So, having said that, he's laughing at me. I want to say where he wants to go with this. He says, okay, seriously now. All right. The enterprise that you're building is assured to have an excellent outcome and future. And I'm being shown a sailboat on an ocean sailing away from me to a sunset. There is no wind, there is peace, there is warmth, there's no fear, there is no complacency. It just simply is. And I hear the words moment of peace, moment of pause. This is reflecting the next couple of weeks of your journey with respect to your business. This could also signify a situation where you're working for a company, but the business will be slow and therefore money will be coming in slower. Money in your pocket will be coming in slower. And again, I'm hearing printing. So maybe for some of you, you have printing jobs or something to do with printing materials. And that I'm just going to leave it at that. Do not worry about the what ifs, for the what ifs will never happen. And again, he's reminding me how important it is to have a positive frame of mind and not get fears get out of hand. He says this is really important for you to understand this. Well, I'm a Taurus too, so great, I'm thinking, because I like to be kept busy. Anyway, Busyness is good, he says, but not when it's to detriment of your path. What do you mean? He says there's a moment of pause that is necessary throughout the journey and between certain steps of your journey. And apparently this is going to be one of those pauses in your journey that will bear fruit down the road, but it is something you will not able to see. I hear the word relax. Everything is fine. Do not worry. This is not a product of something you've done or didn't do. It simply is a moment of pause. Allow yourself to breathe. Do not let the mind take the best of you. Fears are meant to be there for the purpose of learning, not for the purpose of keeping you stuck and allowing you to be fearful more so than hopeful. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to have the time to rest. This is only a moment of pause. That is all it is. Do not be fearful. Well, I'm hoping this is going to make sense to you. And again, I hear the word school and parents. For some of you, this is going to be a message. You're a parent and you have kids in school and you'll have business or something with business is going to slow down. Okay. I also feel that this is going to be a moment where you will you will have the ability or the opportunity, shall I say, to relax a little bit more than what you have been used to in the last, I want to say 6 to 8 months. This isn't a bad thing, he's saying to me, and do not look at it as lack. Look at it as luck. L-U-C-K as opposed to L-A-C-K. And he says you are lucky to have this moment of rest. And when I ask him, why is that? He says, you just wait and see. And all of a sudden I have this whoosh from my heart. I'm being pushed forward, almost like, whoa, where am I going? You know, sometimes you're sitting on a train or a car and then all of a sudden somebody accelerates. And before you get a chance to get used to the movement, you kind of go back because it's so fast. That's what I'm being shown. So I'm also being shown a swing, and I'm asking, what is this swing? And he says there are swings in your business. Up and down, up and down. This is one of those downs that's not necessarily a bad down, okay? And then I hear the words, money will come, do not worry. So this is very financially oriented. And there's anything else? Is there anything else? No, he's asking me to move on with the cards. So the first card represents your past or your background, also your mind, okay? And we have the card called the universe. Beautiful card. This is the last card of the deck. In the traditional tarot deck, this is the last card. I believe it's called the world. And this is a major arcana, so this is things happening within us as opposed to outside of us. So I'm going to ask him what this card represents, because it's a phenomenal card to get. So I have to decipher why it's in a position of past. And he says, not so much the past, but the mind. Okay. Where you have been for the last 6 or 8 months has been a product of you feeling like you're on top of the world in the way you think and the way you feel. And as I say this, there's a thunderstorm. It's almost like you got it. Because of that feeling, you have projected a certain energy that has come back to you tenfold, 100 times fold, 1,000 times fold. And you have received the results of you feeling like you're on the top of the world. This does not mean that you've done something wrong, because for the next little while there's going to be a moment of pause. But what it does mean is that you are to continue having this feeling and these thoughts that you are on top of the world. Okay? So that's just a reminder. Now, the next card represents present or the problem. Oh my God. Waiting game. Number 2, he said 2 weeks. Yikes. Or first half of September, which is 2 weeks. So, the current situation, or what is the problem? Well, this is a time for pause. This is a time to wait. I also don't feel it's time to make any drastic decisions. Far from it. Don't make any decisions at all. And even though I feel that number 2 represent choices and decisions, he's telling me this is not the time to make a choice or decision. Hence the words, the waiting game. Incidentally, he's asking me to pay attention to the color of the border, which represents spirit and our desires, our passions. For some of you who are passionate about what you do for work, this represents that energy. It is also very creative energy. So if you are in a business of creative endeavors, if you are in a creative business like printing, this is that much more pertinent to this message. You're supposed to sit on it, okay? Now, the next card represents your future or advice. Oh, interesting. Now we have the card called Suffering in Silence. 9 is not, so this is card of mental thinking, or mental. This is thinking card. This is the suit of swords in a traditional tarot card, the tarot deck. I can't speak today. This lady is looking out in the ocean or out in the open, and she's the body position signifies she might be waiting alone. There is maybe a bit of sadness. However, 9 represents endings. So I'm going to ask why this is shown to us at the end. And he says to me, rather than looking at this card as a future projection, he wants us to look at this card as an advice of what not to do. So in other words, don't be suffering. This isn't anything to suffer about. This is a good thing coming to an end. 9 is number of endings. Endings are often followed by new beginnings. I do see a door closing. When I ask what this door is about, he's saying to me, it has to do a lot with your mind and with your mental agility. What do you mean? You have to understand certain aspects of yourself in order to push forward in a more meaningful way. Aha, okay. So, if you are in fact going to be slowing down a little bit, it is going to be a time of non-movement for the purpose of you reconciling some things within yourself that are not worth keeping any longer. Hence the number 9 representing endings, and hence the border blue representing thoughts, the element of air, or swords. Again, this is not the time to make decisions, because if you do make decisions now, you are still going to be making the decisions based on your current state of mind. Whereas whenever the time passes of the lull, so to speak, you will begin to have a new frame of mind and a different way of thinking. That's when you will begin to start making decisions again. But those decisions will be based on a different foundation of your thought pattern or thought process. He's asking me to look at the sun in my mind. And he says, look at the sun. The sun is bright and always smiling. The sun always shines, even though sometimes you cannot see it, because all you can see is the clouds. Yet you know that behind the clouds, the sun indeed exists and all is well. And soon the clouds will part and you will see the ray of sunshine once again. So this is very much a metaphor. You might feel a little bit clouded in the next 2 weeks, and you might not be able to see the future. The cloudiness may evoke some fears within you pertaining to your pocket, or in other words, financial situation. Do not let that rule the rest of your journey that you are on with this creating endeavor, because it is only a momentary pause that is set forth in motion in order for you to reflect certain things. These things are meant to be reflected so that things can change or perceptions can change, so that you can start off in the next phase of your journey in a much more productive way because of the new foundation of your thoughts. And then he puts exclamation mark on that. So let me just see if there's anything else. I hear the word, or I see the word wait, and it's underlined over and over again. For some of you, you will feel tempted to make a move. I'm also being aware that for some of you, this is going to be about looking for jobs and perhaps not having any luck or any bites or any interviews, and it's going to feel like a law. You're being reminded again that this is partly part of the time of year, September, and you're also being reminded, or I'm being reminded, that Mercury is retrograde, I believe, and I don't know what that means, but he says communications go cross-eyed and sideways. So it's actually a good time not to have any interviews. Use this time to promote yourself in other ways, whether sending more resumes, connecting with people through other means. LinkedIn just came to mind for whatever reason, or what's the word I'm looking for? Networking. Okay, so this is not so much time for action, it's time for reflection. I feel like I want to leave this like it is. I'm seeing a big number 9, so there's definitely some endings coming to you guys pertaining to the way you think. And remember, what we think produces a sense of feeling. So if we have unhealthy thinking, we will then have a congruent feeling associated with that thinking. And remember how this works. Once we send out the feeling to the universe, because that's what we emanate, we get results that are half-ass. Excuse my French. So it's really important for you to pay attention and play part in the next few days, couple of weeks, first half of this month. I hope this makes sense. This is also my sign, so it's going to be interesting to see. If you would like a private reading, of course, feel free to connect with me at joannathemedium.com. I also have some links for you down below. If this does make sense to you, please feel free to comment. I love your comments. I always read them. If this doesn't make sense to you, listen to your other signs, or this may not be a reading for you this month, and that's completely okay. I always ask for spirit. My intention is to always give those who are needing to hear this message the most, connect with my energy and go from there. I wish you best of luck. Again, please don't worry if something slows down in the next couple of weeks. Please do not worry. This is just a momentary pause. Enjoy this as a break, as a rest. because soon enough, it looks like you're going to be pushed forward into a much busier world than you have had up until this point. So it's almost like rest before the train takes off, and the train is going to be going really, really fast. Again, I wish you best of luck. Thank you for sharing, watching, and subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in October.